Hello, it's Saturday the 10th of September. You're tuned in to our 6 p.m. newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. It's great to have you with us today. I'm Mark Broom. Our top story this evening, the UN Security Council has spoken with one voice condemning North Korea's fifth nuclear test. The members will discuss imposing new sanctions on the regime given the grave threat the North poses to the international community. Gonsua starts us off.
The UN Security Council announced it would immediately begin working on appropriate measures in the form of a new sanctions resolution.
The members of the Security Council held urgent consultations to address the serious situation arising from the nuclear test conducted by the Democratic People's Republic of Korea on 9 September 2016.
The emergency meeting was requested by South Korea, the US, and Japan, all three of whom were on the same page in denouncing Pyongyang's ongoing provocations.
For whatever reason, if the DPRK does not stop this insane continuation spree of provocations, we, the countries in the region, remains under direct threat.
North Korea is seeking to perfect its nuclear weapons and their delivery vehicles so they can hold the region and the world hostage under threat of nuclear strike.
It is certainly deplorable, unacceptable, that this is the second time they have conducted a nuclear test this year.
Resolution 2270, imposed after the North's fourth nuclear test in January and dubbed the Terminating Resolution, was supposed to put an end to North Korea's violations. The resolution included mandatory cargo inspections and so-called sectoral bans restricting trade in coal, iron, and titanium. It also put sanctions on the banking and financial sector and blacklisted individuals and entities.
Even though the current sanctions regime against DPRK is pretty strong, I think there is still room for strengthening it further. And if the existing sanctions don't work, I think we should upgrade it. There is no other option.
It remains to be seen, though, whether Russia and North Korea's closest ally, China, will cooperate in formulating even harsher sanctions. They showed some resistance in putting together Resolution 2270.
I can't speak for the others, but if you talk about the feel for things, when many members talked about working for further measures, and I don't think there was any statement which opposed that idea.
South Korea's ambassador to the UN says he hopes it won't take too long to settle on a new sanctions resolution. The last one took almost 2 months to be adopted. Kwon-soa, Arirang News.
The member countries of a global treaty banning nuclear testing have condemned North Korea for conducting its fifth nuclear test. The Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Preparatory Committee says Friday's test clearly violates the established international norm. It adds that the North's actions also present serious risks to international peace and security. It stressed the test was a clear violation of the relevant UN Security Council resolutions, and the regime has to start fully complying with its international obligations. Staying with the international response to North Korea's nuclear test, South Korea's defense minister has spoken with his counterparts in the US and Japan, where they agreed to strengthen cooperation in continuing to put pressure on Pyongyang. Seoul's defense ministry says Han Min-gu spoke with the US Defense Secretary Ashton Carter on the phone Friday evening, who gave assurances of the ironclad alliance between the two countries. Han also spoke to Japan's defense minister Tomomi Inada, and both agreed that stronger enforcement of UN sanctions was needed. Meanwhile, the South Korean and US military have started their investigation to find traces of radioactive material from the nuclear test. The search will be conducted on air and on sea by the Navy and Air Forces in an effort to discover what substances were used in the test. Now, in other news, Samsung Electronics has told its customers in Korea to power down and stop using their Galaxy Note 7 smartphones. This comes after a US consumer safety watchdog advised the same thing on Friday due to a fault in the battery that has led to several devices bursting into flames. Kwon Jang-oh has the details.
Just a week after Samsung Electronics confirmed a global recall of its latest smartphone, the Galaxy Note 7, the company has now gone a step further and told its customers in Korea to stop using the phone altogether. Owners of the phone have been told to turn off their device, to not charge it, and to take it to a service center where they can receive a temporary phone until replacements become available from September 19th. On Friday, Samsung, along with the US Consumer Product Safety Commission, gave similar warnings to its customers in the United States. But it's not yet clear when replacement phones will be available in the American market. Samsung says it's still working with the US watchdog to determine whether an exchange program is enough or whether a more extensive recall is needed. Reports of several Note 7s catching fire while charging emerged shortly after the launch in August. After an investigation, Samsung confirmed it was a fault in a small percentage of its battery cells and issued an unprecedented recall of the 2.5 million devices that had already been shipped. But no warnings were given to stop using the phones until Thursday, when US air regulators, the FAA, told its passengers to keep the Note 7 turned off on flights and to not stow them in checked-in luggage. European, Canadian, Japanese and Indian flight authorities quickly followed suit. Those who own a Note 7 should go to their nearest Samsung service center or retailer to ask about replacement or refund options, except those in China, as devices sold there are said to be unaffected. Kwon Jang-oh, Arirang News.
Korea's Hanjin Shipping has reportedly been given provisional court protection in the United States to unload cargo at some ports without worrying about its ships being seized. Industry sources say the ailing shipper, which is currently under court receivership in Korea, was granted protection on Friday by a bankruptcy judge in New Jersey. Hanjin Shipping had been seeking protection there as 4 of its vessels have been sitting off the western coast of the US amid concerns they will be seized by creditors. Hanjin Shipping's biggest shareholder, Korean Airlines, has approved a proposed $54.2 million payment to its affiliate on the condition the loan is exchanged for collateral. Earlier in the week, Hanjin Group pledged over $96 million to its struggling shipping arm. The United States and Russia have agreed to a plan aimed at ending violence in Syria and beginning a political transition. US Secretary of State John Kerry said the plan included a 7-day nationwide ceasefire from sunset on Monday.
The United States and Russia together are calling on all sides to recommit to a nationwide cessation of hostilities and to honor its previous terms. This will be effective at sundown on September 12th.
The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov described the agreement as significant and practical and said Moscow had already told President Assad of Syria to abide by it.
We in the United States take the obligation to do all our best to engage and make the stakeholders comply with the arrangements in the documents. As I said, the Syrian government has been informed by us of these arrangements and is ready to fulfill them.
The United Nations welcomed the agreement and said it would exert all efforts to deliver humanitarian aid to the hardest hit areas once the ceasefire starts. Now, a team of Korean researchers has made a scientific advance by taking a page from the performing arts. They studied shadow theatre to create an algorithm that can eventually be applied in various fields. Park Se-young has the details.
4 actors come together to create the shadow of an elephant and then a car in this shadow theatre performance. The genre uses shadows as the only medium of communication, telling a story and sparking viewers' imaginations about what might be happening behind the screen. Now science is borrowing from this age-old art form. A team of Korean researchers has found a way to recreate the shadows by developing a technology that replaces the actors with computer-generated animated characters. After analyzing the actor's movements, the researchers came up with mathematical models and created a calculation framework. When they enter a specific shape, a computer program calculates the most accurate movements and postures for creating it. The researchers then printed the poses using 3D printers and compared the shadows to those of the professional actors.
The core technology is our optimization algorithm, which creates natural human-like movements. The important aspect is that a computer algorithm was able to work out complicated optimization processes.
With the program, they were able to recreate accurate shadows mimicking the actors' shapes, including the elephant and violin. The researchers believe their computer graphics technology can be expanded to a variety of fields, including sports science and robot research. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Now finally leaving you with a brief look at the weekend weather, and we have an overcast night in store. The low is going to dip to 18 degrees Celsius in Seoul. Sunday should be pretty pleasant with plenty of sunshine nationwide and warm temperatures as well. We can expect similar conditions all through next week as well. With that, let's take a look at the weather in Korea and around the world. Well, that's all we have for now. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday, wherever you're watching us, and stay tuned to Arirang TV. We will be back with our next newscast. That's coming up at 10 p.m. Korea time, so until then, goodbye.